to the Most High Yah. Hey everybody, what's up? This is True Justice One. Hey guys, I want to correct something I've been studying, and yeah, man, I've been saying that I hate to jump right into it, but it's just it's kind of bothering me, and I have to make sure that there's clarity in my lessons. And in my fifth trumpet, I said the guy that's falling from the sky is the first beast, and it's not the first beast. The guy falling out of the sky opens the bottomless pit, and the first beast is actually in the bottomless pit. He's actually in hell. So in the fifth trumpet, um, the guy falling from the sky, okay, that lands, all right, that has the key to the bottomless pit. When he opens the bottomless pit, the locusts come out, and also the first beast comes out, okay, because that's what it says here in the sixth trumpet. Because I've been studying it in depth. So um, it's just a minor adjustment, but the whole focus, like I was saying on all my previous videos, is that the first beast is important. The first beast is important, and it's important for you to have clarity on this because um, he's the one that's personally going to come against the believers and in the world. Okay, um, he sets up and enforces the chip, which is the mark of the beast, which is well, whatever you can buy or sell or trade. You know what I mean? And that you would have to have that with that whatever money you would bring. Otherwise you couldn't buy or sell trade without it. Okay. Um, he's going to enforce that. So he's going to make sure all that goes down. All right. And he's the first one to get thrown into hell. Okay. So there's clarity. Okay. Um, you know, uh, just like I said, a minor little mistake of mine. No shame in my game. Because, there's not that many people out there really going in depth and teaching clarity. So I want to make sure everybody gets this down 100% when it comes to the trumps and revelations. Okay. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay. So, um, I kind of went into the first beast and made sure I clarified that because, uh, he's, uh, he's going to be one of the main factors um, in the prophecy having to do with us, the believers. Okay, so the mistake everybody's making is they're saying that Jesus is going to come get the believers, and that's true in a sense, but in actuality, he's not going to do like dealing with the non-believers, destroying them at that time. Okay, so once these seven trumps go down, there's going to be seven vials of wrath. So initially in Revelations, the prophecies go, you have seven seals, and then you have seven trumpets, okay, and then you have seven vials of wrath, okay. If anybody wants to debate this, I'll take on anybody, because this is a dream that John the Revelator has about the future, okay, in the day of the Lord, okay. So um, back to the first beast, okay. I'm kind of harping on the first beast because if you just like kind of focus on the first beast, because he has to deal with the fifth and the sixth and the seventh trump, okay, and he's a part of that mark of the beast that has to personally deal with you. If you just focus on who he is and who we're dealing with, uh it'll start all to come together and it'll make sense, okay, why this is being, chips being pushed, and we like this, okay. So like in the fifth trumpet, you know that man, or angel or whatever it is, falls from the sky and opens the bottomless pit, okay. We know that. We know the first beast comes out of the bottomless pit. In the seventh trump, we know the first beast, okay, which we're about to study, ends up killing the two witnesses, okay. In the seventh trump, you have you know um, the first beast being pushed and amplified by the dragon and the second beast, um, you know, um, by the to go on the world stage and do supernatural acts to where everybody believes he's some quote unquote God, right? And people like bow down to him and basically want to do whatever he says because of these supernatural acts or miracles, quote unquote, and they get the chip because he's going to push the chip, oddly enough, right? And why would a divine creator need someone to put chips inside of them, right? So we got to use common sense when this happens, because it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in your lifetime. And it's going to happen sooner than you think, okay? Because people have had prophetic dreams about all these things, and I watch all those videos, and all those prophetic dreams, I put them all together, okay, which is hundreds, if not thousands of them. They all line up with Revelations. They're all bits and parts of what's going to happen in Revelations, okay, which is just amazing, okay. All right, so and not only that, Revelations matches up with the prophecy from Christ, the Creator's Son, and because he is a prophet, and he prophesied the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD, and he also prophesied the day of the Lord, okay, in Matthew 24, okay. So the first piece is important, and I'm gonna go into reading the sixth trumpet, okay, and it's gonna make a lot more sense now, okay. All right, so let's see here. The sixth trumpet starts at Revelations chapter 9, verse 13. Okay. The sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosened, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of man. The number of the army of the horsemen were 200 thousand, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and Janeth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these there was the third part of men killed by the fire and the smoke and the brimstone, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths, for their power is in their mouth, and their tails were like unto the serpents, and the heads, and them they do hurt. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna go ahead and break down that Revelations chapter 9, verse 13 to 19. Okay, so some people will teach this as literal, but I'm telling you guys, I mean, they will try to teach it as a metaphor, but I'm telling you guys, this is, Poor Talk Pastor will teach you as a metaphor. I'm telling you guys, this is stuff that's going to happen. Okay. So when I read it, you got to, like, close your eyes and, like, picture all this stuff happening, because there's no pictures or movies or anything this is stuff that we've never even seen before ever. Okay. If this is the case. All right. So just hear me out. It's just, okay. So the main thing is right here. Okay. My main part of lesson in teaching these trumpets is to get you guys to know the order. Okay, see this order, this list right here I'm showing you, is to see this order. So once this stuff starts happening, you're gonna know what happens next. Okay, so you're not gonna have no problem if it doesn't ever happen. But if you start seeing these things happen, you know what's going to happen next. This isn't something some dude made up. This is something that's, pulled out of a cave that's thousands of years old. The Dead Sea Scrolls, a prophecy from these divine people, right? That say they have contact with the creator of this world, right? All right. I don't want to get too deep on you guys, all right? So I'm going to go in, all right? I'm going to go ahead, all right? So it says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels, which are bound in the great Euphrates. Okay, so these angels get loosened. Okay, these angels are basically detached from heaven, basically from the Most High. Okay, and the four angels were loosened, and which were prepared for it. Okay, so these angels are basically waiting to do this destruction, which is going to be to destroy 1/3 of man. That's what this is basically saying. Okay, so six trump sounds, right? These voices, I mean, this voice comes from heaven, right? And says to the sixth angel, okay, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels, loosen four more angels. Okay, so this voice tells this angel that blew the sixth trumpet, that very angel, that voice tells that angel, go loosen, right, the four angels, right, which are bound in the great, river Euphrates. Okay, so okay, just hear me out. And what are these four angels? Okay, by these three was the third part of man killed. Okay, and that's chapter 9, verse 18. Okay, this is okay. So we have, is it seven you know was it billion or whatnot, or people in the world, right? Or probably eight now, who knows. And but 1/3 of that is like what, 2 or 3 billion, right? That's a lot of people, right? So that's a noticeable, my point is, that's a noticeable, prophecy of the Bible sign, to where if you see that many people die on earth, you'd be like, oh, that's a six trumpet sign, right? Right, especially if you've seen those cataclysms hit the earth, right, in a 1 through 3rd trumpet, you know um it's going to be very noticeable, like, then that many people die. I mean, come on, these prophecies are kicking in, right? So you know what's going to happen next. Like I said, it's a personal thing that has to do with you, because you're going to be brung up, you're going to be put in that spot, you're going to have to make a decision. They're going to catch you, right? If you're a believer in the Bible, they're going to get you, they're going to catch you, they see you, they're going to, it's going to, going to be a mission to come get you. Okay, so they're going to come get you, they're going to put that mark, they're going to put that chip, they're going to say, hey, get this chip or you got to go. You're going to have to make that call. So it's good to pay attention to these signs, so when it's coming, all right, to the believers. Okay, so that's what's going on in this first part from chapter 9, verse 13 to 18. Okay, it's basically, like I said, the sixth angel that blows this trump, a voice says from heaven, tells that very angel, go loosen the four angels. When these four angels come out, one of these angels let out a plague, right? And it kills basically 1/3 of man, okay, which is what, like I said, 2 or 3 billion people, which is very noticeable. Okay, so I'm gonna continue. Okay, verse 19, for their tails in their mouth, for their powers in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and they had heads, and with them they do hurt, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not, and of the works of their hands, and that they should not worship devils and the idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their thefts. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and break down from 19 to 21. Okay, so for their power is in their mouth and in their tails were like serpents, and their head they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not. Okay, so um, these disasters are happening. One third of the sun, one third of the moon, one third of stars. It gets smitten. The comet hits the earth, right? Mountainside, another mountain-sized comet hits the earth, right? 2 billion people die, and then none of these people are repenting, right? You're still gonna have believers out here, like out here. We're gonna be out here telling everybody, hey, these signs are happening. This is gonna happen. This is what happened, and this is what's gonna happen next. You see what I'm saying? So, um, but these people, like, they don't care. Like they don't have no these people, like, this is, like I said, this goes into atheists. This is what this is talking about. This world gets destroyed right before their very eyes. They get destroyed in it, like very slowly. Like it crushes who they are and what they thought this was, right? And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of their works of their hands, and they that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood. That's just like material stuff, you know what I mean? Like cars and jewelry and diamonds. And like when you value like all that stuff, like you're not going to regret life. Your idea, your philosophy of life is going to be like, I could have never become who I am today if I didn't go through what I went through. So therefore, I don't regret who I was or what happened to me, which is BS, because that's just something someone made up, which has nothing to do with the Bible, and it's not even true. Okay, you should regret if you did bad things and you could go back and change it. You should say yes, I would change it. Don't go with that philosophy where you say no, I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't be who I am. No, no, scratch all that. That's not what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches no. If you could go back and change it, that if you did something bad, you would do the right thing. All right, that's the expectations of the Bible. That's the perception it expects you to have. That's what it's saying. Okay, so um, uh, neither repented they of their murders. Okay, so people who've killed people, right? Their lives, like it's like the world's coming to an end. Everybody, like they don't even care, like they're not even thinking about the Most High or repenting to Him, right? Because sin is transgression of the law, right? It's an offense to the Lord. You offended the Lord. You murderers, you have offended people who've killed people. You've offended the Creator of this existence, of your existence that you're in right now. You've offended Him, and if you don't repent, you're going to burn in hell. That's just it specifically says of their murders. So if you kill someone, you have to repent to him. You have to say, I'm sorry that I did that, Creator. Don't make me suffer an eternal hell after I physically die because of that. Because eternity is just too much for me, and I can't handle suffering that long, right? Nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. All right. So you have voodoo, people who do voodoo, people who do dark magic, people who believe in anything that has to do with evil or darkness or death or all that stuff, sorcery, all that blood and sacrifice, all that stuff, that's all considered evil. Okay, and their sorceries and of their fornication. All right, so you have people like tricks, you have prostitutes, you have people that are just promiscuous, you have people who didn't even know any better. They just thought it was just a part of the way they live. All these, they're not regretting. I never, saying like you don't regret meeting that person and doing what you did. No, you have to regret it. You have to change. You have to evolve as a believer. You have to you can't stay in one place because you're on your way to perfection. Because what if there's no switch when you get in heaven? What if you die, right? I don't mean to get off subject, but what if you die, right? And then all your evil thoughts in heaven, everybody can see them, right? What if that happens? All right. What if there's no switch? What if you have evil habits here and then like in heaven, like this just before everybody? It's gonna be an abomination. It's gonna be everybody's gonna look at you really weird and like you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, you're gonna be out of here. Like they're gonna give you that look, like so it's your mindset, and we all got to get there because we have to meet the most high standards. We have to meet the most highest mental standards. Okay, all of us. Okay, um, and of their fornication nor of their thefts. People who steal. That's one of the commandments is to don't steal. Sometimes I know it's hard because people have never had anything, and then it's like right there, and you're just like, oh, I could just get that, and then but you're gonna have to pay for that. There's a karma. You're just gonna end up paying for more of it down the road. Why not start building up right now? Your clout, your karma right now. Don't steal from people. Actually, just work for what hustle for what you get for. And pray for opportunities. And um, the Most High will make a way. Believe it or not, man. You got to believe. You see what I'm saying? And that's just how it works, okay? Because everything else will fall into place, you know. But you got to stay focused on believing the whole time. You just got to stay focused on being a servant, okay? All right, so I'm gonna continue. Chapter 10 in Revelations, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had opened his hand and a little he had opened his hand a little book, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth. And he cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, the seven thunders uttered their voices. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven voices uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I had saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and break down chapter 10 through verse 5, and then I'm gonna kind of do verse 6 by itself. Okay, so here we go. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as a pillar of fire. Okay, so this is basically just describing the looks of this angel. Okay, and they're just saying it's like this giant angel. Okay, and he's basically has a foot in the sea and a foot on earth, because that's how big he is. You see what I'm saying? It's like a giant angel. Okay, and he has this book, okay, in his hand, right? And he's crying with a loud voice, right? And these seven voices from heaven, um, I think, say something to the angel. I'm not sure, but they say something, right? And when the seven angels thunder had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders under. So obviously, I'm thinking, if you read this verse, you can see it means that the Most High doesn't want, right, for us to know what those seven thunders said. But it's something so passionate that, I'm thinking the angel screamed something probably out of order, and the angels were probably correcting him. I'm not sure, but um, the angel is screaming to us is very important, right? If this is the case, whatever this angel is trying to communicate to us, the audience, it's obviously really important, right? This is a turn up right here, okay? Um, and the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him. Okay, so after this interaction this angel has or whatnot with these seven voices, right, and the Most High, right, correcting them all, right, this angel lifts his hands in the air. Okay, this angel lifts his hands in the air, right, and he's swearing, okay, that there's no more time. Like, there's no more time. Like, that's basically what this angel's doing. I swear there's no more time. Like he's telling the whole world this is going down, right? That's what's happening right here. Okay. But he probably said it in a different way. So we don't know what he said. The Most I don't want us to know, obviously, but he said something. But in the days of the voice of the seven angel, and he shall begin to sound, and the mystery of God should be finished, as he declareth his servants. See, that's why I tell people, hey man, learn these seven trumps, because us believers, we're not going to be here, right? And so don't make the mistake of, oh yeah, Jesus is going to be on the spirit, after we're martyred, or people are taken up, right? First, some people were taken up, then we're martyred, right? We're going to meet the creator son in the sky, but in the spirit though, right? He's going to meet us in the spirit, guys. He's not here at the end of seven trumps. He isn't here yet. Okay. Because it's just funny, because a lot of people try to, on all these different channels on YouTube, they try to act like they know when Jesus is actually coming to earth, and they know nothing of future prophecy, nor do they care to study it, but yet they want to speak upon it, right? And all they could do is spew out pork chop pastures, um, philosophy of getting raptured, okay, which is just not true. Jesus is going to come back and then rapture people, we all go with him. No, that's done in the spirit. We're martyred, we're killed. In this story and prophecies, we're killed, guys. Believers, we're either raptured and taken away, you're either going to disappear, right? And then the believers that are left are going to be hunted down and killed. That's what this is saying right here. All right. So I don't know what other doctrines these people on these other channels are trying to tell you what's going to happen, but in this book, Jesus Christ, he doesn't come till after the seven vials of wrath. The believers are gone. Remember I said it goes the seals and the trumpets and then the seven vials of wrath, right? We're gone. All the believers are gone by the seventh trump. The vials of wrath haven't even started yet. So Don't let nobody lie to you, especially if they haven't studied Revelations and can break it down to you. Okay, so let me continue. I don't want to get, I don't want to ramble, but um, and I saw another mighty angel come down to heaven, clothed with a coat, and rainbow was, okay, sun, and his peal of fire, and he had in his hand a little book open, okay, and cried out loud voice, seven, and the seventh angels, hold on, and saying, they'll seal up the voices, and the sun liveth. Okay, chapter 10, verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, and when he had shall begun the sound, and the mystery of God should be finished, as he declared to his servants, the prophets. See that right there? Like I was just saying, man, we're gone on the seventh trump, guys. Well, all the believers are gone off of earth on the seventh trump. Then the seven vials happen. Then the Creator Son comes and destroys the non-believers, guys. Then that happens. Then he bathes in their blood. But there's like wars and stuff, the Gog and Magog war, and like a lot of things happen, So it just isn't, the first beast gets thrown into the lake of fire, the second beast gets thrown into the lake of fire, and then Satan gets thrown into the pit, or gets chained and gets thrown locked up for another 1,000 years, and then we're taught, and then we're tested again by Satan. He's let out again, and then they destroy Satan on the day of the Lord, on Judgment Day. They destroy Satan. But first beast, like a lot of stuff happens. Well, my point is, a lot of stuff happens before, you know, the Creator Son, comes here and actually destroys them. Okay, so don't let nobody say Jesus is coming here to, show love and take everybody. No, when the Creator Son comes here, he's coming here to destroy all the non-believers. He's coming here to bathe in the non-believers' blood. That's why I tell you guys, this revelation goes in on the non-believers. Okay, so let me continue. All right, so chapter 10, verse 8. And a voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Okay, so I'm just thinking that when this guy read this book, right, it was like great news, but then he probably realized, continue reading this book, like what it's going to take for that great news to happen. And that probably settled in. But we don't know what that book says, because it's just saying, he just read this book, and it's just saying the emotions he goes through from reading this book. It's just telling us, John is just telling us what he sees. So you got to remember, this is just a guy that had a dream about the future, and he's just telling us what he's seeing in his dream. Okay, so, and then John is getting flashed from heaven to earth, and he's just telling us these visions that he's seeing of the day of the Lord and what happened. Okay, so um uh 10. And I took a little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, in my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Okay. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. And I will give power unto the two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and break that down. Uh, on chapter 11 in Revelation, it says, And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. Okay, so basically, this angel tells John in his dream to measure the temple of God. That's what this is saying. Okay, all right, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,200 and 260 days, clothed in sackcloth. All right, so it's going into explaining who the two witnesses are. All right, this is the two witnesses being introduced right here, and I will give power, because this is and I will give power to my two witnesses. Okay, so it's talking about two people, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days. Okay, that's prophesy. That means they're going to come to the earth and prophesy. So we're expecting two witnesses before you're a whole mark of the beast. The people getting tucked up in the mark before all this happens. This is the stuff that's going to go down. This is going to be the very noticeable things that's going to go down. Because to a person that doesn't know what's going down, all this stuff's going to seem crazy. But if you read the prophecy of John, and it's a he had a dream about what's about to happen. That's what this Bible is saying. Okay, all right. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,203 days, clothed in sackcloth. Okay. And these are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before God of the earth. Okay. So these two witnesses, a lot of people, Elijah and Moses, a lot of us take guesses who the two witnesses are, but it's always fun. But we know there's going to be two witnesses, and they're going to be prophesying to us, so we're expecting them. The watchers, the people that believe in revelations, right, prophecies, they're waiting. We know they're coming, right? And if any man will hurt them, fire proceed out their mouth, right, and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, they must in this manner be killed. So these two witnesses are untouchable. These are are prophetic witnesses that are going to prophesy to the earth. So they're going to be very untouchable. They're going to remember they're candlesticks before the Most High. So this is Most High sponsored. Okay, basically these two witnesses are basically sponsored by the Most High. Okay, like personally by Him. Okay, they're detached to earth to prophesy to us. Right. So we're expecting them. Okay, and have power to shut heaven and that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over the waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Okay, so hey, if they want to make a drought in one place, they can. If you think you're going to go put a hit on these two, you're going to get hit. That's what this is saying, right? And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. It don't matter who it is. Whoever tries something like that, you're going to get it instead, right? Uh, so when the two witnesses come, beware. Like, yeah, they're here to prophesy, and they're going to protect themselves. They're going to make sure these prophecies get out, guys. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Okay, so that's what I was talking about earlier. I had to correct myself about the whole first beast thing, because he actually comes out of that first, when that man with the key lands and opens the pit, the first beast comes out of that pit. That's what's happening there. Okay, and when they shall have finished their testimony, right, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them. So that beast that comes out of that pit, that one guy landed with the key and opened, the beast that comes out of that pit, he kills these two witnesses, right, that are to the candlesticks before the Most High. They're going to get their prophecy out. Nothing's going to stop them until this happens, right? Only obviously the beast has that entitlement to kill two witnesses. Obviously, I think there's going to be people trying to kill these two witnesses because they have the power to make plagues. They have the power to make droughts, right? So people are going to feel some kind of way if they're direct at fault. Obviously, this prophecy saying people are going to try to get crazy and try to go for it. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to make it. That's what this is saying. This is all prophetic. This is a divine thing, right? This is going to be a very noticeable sign if something like this happens, right? Okay. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Okay. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Because if you're a non-believer, what these guys, two witnesses, say is going to be happening. So if they come into LA, you guys are evil. You're sociopaths. You guys are materialistic. If you don't fix your ways, or if you don't listen to, they could do whatever they want, right? I'm gonna put a plague on LA, and and then it happens, right? So something like that, right? Like, it's gonna be noticeable, right? And people are gonna notice it all around the world, right? And obviously, I say around the world because it says their body shall lie in the street of a great city, spiritually call it Sodom. Spiritually, it was just called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord is crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies. So, and the people, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations. So that's like everybody. So everybody's going to see these two witnesses. That's what this is saying, right? In chapter 11, verse 9 in Revelations. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves. Okay. They want to see their dead bodies because these guys tortured them, right? It says it right here. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. They're rejoicing over these dead bodies. The world is. It's like a Christmas. It's like they're so glad these two witnesses are going, because these witnesses are talking about hell, what's coming, like the real, and the world can't take it, right? They want these guys out of here, right? And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Like I said, they're going to send each other this at Christmas. They're going to send each other gifts. They're going to be happy that they're dead. They're going to be happy that they're no longer breathing. They're going to keep their bodies on the street, right? But check this out. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Okay, so the world's celebrating that these two witnesses are dead. This is something that's going to happen. It's going to be very noticeable, right? One gifts a Christmas, they're going to celebrate. A birthday is going to be a celebration that these two witnesses that we're calling, they're going to see as devastation when they're just trying to wake everybody up to the Creator. What he's about to do, what he needs us to do, right? Coming back to righteousness. That's what they're going to be doing, right? And everybody's not going to, the world's evil. They're not going to want to hear that, right? And these guys are going to get up, right? In front of everybody, and everybody's going to freak out, okay? And they're going to go back, they're going to ascend into heaven, right? So everybody's celebrating, right? They're going to have, their hair blown back. They're going to look really, funny on that day, right? When that happens, right? And this is all prophecy. This is about to happen. I'm telling you, this is about to happen. So when it happens, you know exactly what's going to be happening. You know what's coming next, right? Okay. So, um, uh, and the same hour was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened, and they gave glory to the God of heaven. Okay, so hold on, let me break this down. Okay, so those two witnesses, right, go back up to heaven, right, and you got to remember when they go back up to heaven, these two witnesses, there's a great earthquake after they're gone. Okay, so remember the earthquake too. Okay, it's important because all this stuff is going to be in order. So no, those two witnesses that we're watching on the news or whatever, they're gonna, because the whole world's gonna know. So how are we gonna else are we gonna know unless it's on the news? On TV, still obviously gonna still be here. So these two guys are on TV. They get up, they go into heaven, and then the great earthquake happens. Okay, so remember that. Then there's gonna be an earthquake, a great earthquake. You're already gonna know the earthquake's gonna happen, right? You know they're gonna get up. You know they're gonna go to heaven, and then you know there's gonna be an earthquake. You're already gonna know what's gonna happen before it's happened because John the Revelator had a dream about this day, right? And he's telling us about it right now. Okay, so and that's basically it because it says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, so um, that is the sixth trumpet. Okay, all right, and it's just it's really important for us to uh, know about the chronological order of these trumpets and the order in them that I am breaking down, so that um, in that day when you're walking around and you're telling people what's going to happen next, they're going to come around you. And your job, being a watchman, accepting these prophecies out of this Bible, right? Because you have a divine creator, right? That protected the word, right, to now. Okay, so your job is to, when they come around you, is to teach them to follow laws, is to teach them not to steal, not to lie. you know um, they'll catch on quick because it's not like it's nothing they haven't heard, but you have to explain to them, hey, no, this stuff's real. You have to know gospel. You have to know laws. You have to know that um, sacrifice and obeying laws are two different things, and that sacrifice is to support law so that we can get it right. Okay, we're to strive to um, not steal, not lie, right? We're to not murder. We're to strive to not do those things, right? Um, because that's a lot of people, like some people come out here, some Christians, quote unquote, come out here with a saying, okay, all you need is a spirit, and the spirit's going to take care of everything. But then you have Christians out here sinning, so that doesn't make sense, right? You got to show me these batch of people that aren't doing any sins at all, because then I'm gonna show you a batch of people that are sinning, right? We are all sinners, you guys. Okay, um, so sacrifice is created because we can't follow law perfectly. We still have to try to follow law. We still have to try to follow the Ten Commandments. You still have to do Sabbath. You still have to not lie. You still have to hold the Most High as your only creator. You have to know He's the only God. You have to know that there's nothing else. Um, you have to tell them about the prophecies. Hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what's happened. This is what's going to happen. Okay, when they come around you. Okay, so you have to be a watchman. You have to be aware, and you have to be. It's going to be a repetitive thing. It's not easy being a watchman. It's not easy because you're going to have to be repetitive. You can't just tell this one person about the gospel and the laws, and then go to this person, and then go to that person. I mean, that's evangelizing. That's how you evangelize. You have to be a repetitive person. You have to do it better the next time than you did it the first time. You know, and uh, I don't know. I've been in sales. I don't know if a lot of people out there have been in sales, but that's what's required. It's a repetitive thing, but man, you have to, do that pitch even better the next time. You have to, really bring it. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And my next video, I'm gonna go in on the seventh trump, okay, and that's when we're going to get into the mark of the beast, okay, and we're going to, that's where the angels and the Satan and his angels, that's where they fight. That's where it's going down. That's where it has a lot to do with you. That's you know um, pretty much the end for us believers here on the physical earth, okay, and then you have the vials of wrath that happens after that here on the physical earth, but it's important to know for a believer, what's coming. Especially, it's important to know what's going to happen at your end. So, yeah, man, if you want to go ahead and watch the next video, it'll be very, probably, you know, it would probably benefit you, and but like I said, it's going to be going into the mark of the beast. It's going to be going into the dragon, the second beast, showing how they are pushing the first beast, okay, and the mark of the beast, and all that stuff that everybody really talks about when it comes out of Revelations, but taught with clarity, okay. So, go ahead and like I said, keep studying, you guys, and don't forget, you guys, to like and subscribe, okay. All right, so I'll talk to you guys later. All right, shoot us one. I'm gonna turn on this car. Couldn't break your heart.